Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Nate here. And you'll never hear me accuse Skyrim of not being a very big game. Nonetheless, despite the Elder Scrolls offering quite a massive world and experience, for the past 8 years, a talented community of mod authors has been working to make it even more expansive and fleshed out. It's been a little while, about 2 to 3-ish weeks, since we've dove into one of these videos. And since then, a pretty impressive amount of content has made its way over onto the Nexus, that I am very excited to cover. So, as you've probably already deduced from the title, thumbnail, and this monologue, that's what we're gonna do today. From UI enhancements to undersea overhauls, sit back and relax as we get ready for episode 8 of Immersive Skyrim mods. Starting off, iEquip, by the names you're seeing on screen now, may in fact be among the year's most exciting releases. With over 2 years in development, iEquip is a UI mod of all things, that brands itself the antidote to Skyrim's endless inventory and magic selection menus. Fundamentally, it will allow you to cycle through weapons, ammos, spells, shouts, and consumables, all without ever needing to enter your inventory again. Or, at least not very often. You're already seeing it in action now. It introduces a small addition to your HUD in the bottom left hand of your screen, and by pressing the appropriate hotkeys, I personally configured mine to correspond with my controller's D-pad, you'll be able to cycle through equipable items you've put in your queue. It's a tad difficult for me to offer a complete tutorial on the mod's full functionality, given the time we have, so really my recommendation is to just play around with it for a good 10 to 15 minutes, and you'll understand most everything. But once you've got it figured out, iEquip will likely soon become one of your must-have mods, as it did with me. The amazing utility of being able to rapidly switch between weapons and shouts without interrupting gameplay is a huge improvement that serves Skyrim very well. iEquip is also extremely customizable. Everything from the size of the new HUD tool to its transparency, to whether or not it fades out, to where it is on your screen, and so much more can be adjusted either through the MCN or the custom editing tool the mod comes with. I mentioned that iEquip spent 2 years in development, and that might come off as a bit surprising, as this really may not seem like the type of project that requires so long in production. But unlike other mods, iEquip's team had to navigate action scripts, weird .dll plugins, and just get a lot more technical than most mods ever need to. This is way different than your standard creation kit-based project. Additionally, there was also some heavy beta testing pre-release in an effort to smooth out any bugs. And from what I can tell, those beta tests did their job very well. As a whole, iEquip is a mod I don't think I'll ever want to disable, and there's a very good chance you're gonna see it in future videos from here on out. It makes inventory management and navigating radically more efficient, and man do I hope Bethesda picks something like this up by the time Starfield or the Elder Scrolls 6 roll around. Next, one of Skyrim's greatest selling points, heavily emphasized by its marketing team leading up to the game's release, was dragons. The winged, shouting creatures who have returned to this frozen northern province with a vengeance and desire for conquest. They make for excellent foes. At least for the first couple hundred hours. Though dragon combat can get to become quite repetitive quite fast. Well, fear not, because Ultimate Dragons by TKTK is coming to the rescue. Ultimate Dragons, or UD, has been available for Skyrim Legendary Edition since 2014. However, just this June, made its way to Special Edition, with a wave of new changes. It's in fact by the same author behind TK Dodge and TK Combat, with somewhere around 2 million combined downloads. So there's a good chance you may already have been acquainted with some of his work. It's pretty good. UD aims to improve the player's various duels with dragons by enhancing Dova AI, giving them new attacks, shouts, attributes, and even some new animations. We'll begin our dissection by talking about AI improvements. With this mod enabled, dragons will spend less time flying throughout the skies, and place greater importance on landing, and stay landed for longer. This removes one of my personal biggest points of frustration with dragon battles, as I've always felt the creatures too often just fly around aimlessly without actually doing much, sometimes for minutes at a time. This will allow you to get to the fighting portion of your fights much faster. Now, the author's under no illusions. He understands that this makes dragon battles a lot easier too. So, to balance this change out, the flying lizards have received a noteworthy health and damage buff. You can also adjust how frequently they take to the skies and land in the MCN. Furthermore, the second major change is the ability to target and damage specific points of a dragon's body. Similar to the Fallout franchise's crippling limbs mechanic, if you do enough damage to a dragon's head, wings, legs, or tail, you'll briefly stun that creature, and cause them to attack and move much less efficiently with that body part. Be careful though, because if a dragon receives way too much damage too quickly, you risk enraging it, which will result in the animal briefly receiving some major damage and attack speed buffs. These changes alone force a pretty considerable change in the dynamic that dragon battles present. You're gonna want to confront them a lot differently now. I found the strategy of using bows to surgically target specific portions of the dragon while backing up to avoid attacks and allowing NPCs to do most of the melee combat works best for me. These new mechanics and behavior changes aren't everything though. In total, 11 new shouts, many coming with their own custom visual effects, have been spread across the Wyverns' arsenals, as well as 3 new animated melee attacks, including a tail swing, which I found oddly adorable. There's a number of more minor miscellaneous adjustments Ultimate Dragons makes that we don't have too much time to go over, but you can read about everything over on its mod page for further elaboration. Thus far, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with what it does. Dragon battles feel considerably less frustrating, but also no less, maybe even a bit more challenging at the same time, if that makes any sense. The reduction in flying makes confrontations feel surprisingly more fast-paced, which isn't something I imagined would happen. UD is also compatible with mods that add in more dragons, such as the Diverse Dragons collection, which we've covered before and I still use. So you shouldn't have many issues with compatibility. Anyway, if you're looking for your dragon fights to be spiced up, I would highly recommend giving this a go. Coming at number 3, we take a deep dive, literally, into the chilly abyss that is the seas surrounding Skyrim. Skyrim's ocean floor wasn't given much love by Bethesda. While they created perhaps one of the most detailed games of our time, such attention and love was never granted to her waterways. The developers simply painted on a sand texture, sprinkled some seaweed and rocks here and there, and called it a day as far as the ocean floor is concerned. Though, honestly, I can't really blame them, we don't spend too much time down there. However, 8 years later, mod author The Black Pixel couldn't bear this oversight any longer. His mod, The Depths of Skyrim, released on June 24th, strives to overhaul Skyrim's underwater environments, and make them feel alive, as an ocean should. The project accomplishes such a resolve in a few ways. It introduces dozens of new types of seagrass, kelp, and coral to add to the variety of aquatic vegetation, creates spawn points for thousands of fish and horkers, that specifically tend to congregate around coral forests, and my personal favorite, also peppers the seabed with a variety of treasures, shipwrecks, and other decorative scenes to reflect what a real medieval coastline should look like. This all comes upon a mountain of terrain fixes. Originally, when developing the ocean floor, Bethesda seems to have accidentally just left in a bunch of cracks in the terrain that you could swim through. Not very immersive. And Depths of Skyrim comes to the rescue in that department. Overall, what DOS does is by no means extreme. It's not going to heavily affect your gameplay experience, and unless you decide to go for a swim, it's possible to go through multiple playthroughs without really noticing it's enabled. However, it's also a unique mod, one that does something few others do, and that I feel is an objective improvement. So, for players that want an ocean that feels more than a dead heap of water, then I definitely recommend giving this a go. For fourth and final spot, we have LC Citadel, or LCC. At its core, LCC is a player home mod that allows the Dragonborn to take up residence at a new castle/settlement in the northern end of the Whiterun Hold. Though, as you're about to see, it is so much more than that. Created by Lowcaster, the same mod author behind the Build Your Own Noble House mod we covered a few months back, it has all the bells and whistles we've come to expect from him, and is loaded with a plethora of custom interactions and quests, but more on those later. The story behind this new Citadel is that a few years back, the people of Whiterun were growing concerned with an ever-escalating number of bandit raids and attacks. So, to better protect his people, Jarl Bolgruf ordered the construction of a new castle and walled settlement in the northern region of his hold. To rule over this new community, Bolgruf appointed his little-known eldest son, Sigmund, as Lord Commander. All was well for quite some time. However, recently Sigmund has disappeared, leaving the settlement in turmoil, but providing the Dragonborn with new mysteries to solve and an opportunity to take his place. When you first arrive, you'll be given a quest to venture into the fort's catacombs and search for answers regarding Sigmund's recent vanishing. That should take you a good 30 to 45 minutes to complete. Once the case has been closed, spoiler alert, Sigmund's not coming back, you'll be able to start making your mark on the fortress. But it's not like you can just walk up to a guard and be declared the new ruler. That's a status you'll have to earn. You see, the mod establishes a new reputation system, applicable to your character's position in the Citadel, that consists of 7 ranks you'll have to slowly advance through as you build a name for yourself. Starting as a peasant, you'll progress to recruit, soldier, sergeant, captain, thane, and finally, Lord Commander. It will be up to you to climb through these positions by earning reputation points in order to take Sigmund's throne. Reputation can be accumulated through an assortment of means. You can help defend the castle from bandit assaults, run errands for the peasantry, help out in the mines, make donations to the local temple, or play politics by bribing the Jarl and intimidating the nobles. As you build up your reputation, reaching a higher rank will always come with some rewards, including greater access to other portions of the settlement. But once you've reached the title of Thane, you'll then be able to move your family in, and actually get access to the new player home itself. LC Citadel is certainly one of the largest mods we've seen this year, that goes far above and beyond the traditional standards of what to expect from home and settlement creations, that I think nearly anyone would enjoy. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to become the second most powerful person in Whiterun. And with that, we are going to wrap up Episode 8 of Immersive Skyrim Mods. This was especially enjoyable to make, because pretty much all of the content was new, and I hadn't had a chance to mess around with any of it before. Normally I'm only able to feature a couple of newer mods in these videos, and rely on a few older ones to help out, but there's just been some real talent over on the Nexus lately. Anyway, thanks for stopping by everyone. In the description down below will, probably, be the links to all the mods' Nexus pages, assuming I don't forget. As always, like ratings are very much appreciated, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out, everyone.